writing a great CV. How do you make your application stand out amongst the crowd of application um, that comes in for a job appointment? You can go to slide 2, please.
Okay. It's kind of taking a time, some time.
Is that coming up?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, we haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, so can we go on slide 2, please?
Yeah, slide 2 there.
All right, so what's our aim and objective today? So by the end of the section, I hope that you'll be able to recognize the importance of writing a good CV, and then you'll be able to understand the importance of ensuring that your CV is logical, simple, devoid of spelling errors, punctuation problems, is grammatically correct, and the meaning of your CV and purpose of your CV is really straightforward. You'll be able to identify a bad CV and make sure you improve it, your ways of writing the CV to make sure your CV doesn't look like one of those bad CVs. And you'll be also able to identify your own skills and personal qualities that needs to be portrayed in your CV to increase your employability. And then the major aim of this session is that you'll be able to draft your own CV, and then we hopefully review it and then put you forward for our referral job process. Slide 3, please.
Okay.
So now I'm just slide 3. Why you guys trying to bring up slide 3? Slide 3 just majorly our house and ground rules. So like I said, this section is going to take a maximum of between 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to make it quick. Secondly, can you kindly try to avoid distractions? So that includes, because we are on a virtual medium for this presentation, please mute yourself at all times. When you want to ask a question, then you raise your hand. Use the raise your hand thing here and put you up to ask your questions. Also, I'll please ask that if you have any questions, do not worry. Just don't interrupt at the during the presentation. We'll have time for this at the end of the presentation. Now, next slide, please. Now, so why do we even bother about a good CV? Why do we bother to make our CV stand out? Every week, even every week, there are large applications coming in for nursing applications. And then you have over thousands and hundreds waiting for a call back. Now, especially when you're trying to go abroad, I'll just use Ireland. I wouldn't broaden up to America and other places, but the same technology applies. Especially when you are trying to move from your own country into another country like the UK or Ireland, you need to make sure that your CV stands out as much as possible. This is because there are other home students and EU home applicants and other EU applicants that are suitable for the role. So why do this employer to spend a lot of money to bring you all the way from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Kenya to come and work in here? So they spend it costs over 1,000. I'll talk about the UK. It costs over £1,000 to get just your certificate of sponsorship. Costs over £1,000. Then most of them sponsors your flight. Like if you check our offer, what we have for you, your flight is there, accommodation for 4 weeks is there, your ruler, your NMBI registration is there. All of this costs money. So why would an employer take the risk of spending this much money on you? That is why we bother. You need to show them that you stand out. You have that skill, that knowledge that you'll be bringing into the team that a regular or EU applicant does not have. And then another reason why we have to make our CV very presentable from the first start is because managers are busy. They have little time to read the masses of applications that they receive. Nobody has the time to keep going through unnecessary information. That is why your CV needs to stand out and have only vital information. So now we're going to the next slide, please. So now, before we go further to talk about how to tackle our problem, this problem, CV problem, let's identify the problem. The first thing is bad formal approach. Some of times I've gotten people interested in jobs. They just send you a message and say, "Oh, I saw an advert that says blah 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 blah. Can I do this? Can I participate? Okay, can you send forward your CV?" And the CV just comes in. It's just so bad. There's no formality in the CV. You're talking to an employer or a prospective employer like you're talking to a friend you've known for like ages. There's very bad formal approach. The attitude is wrong. The CV is appalling. The presentation is appalling. The content and information is just, I don't mean to be rude to anybody. I just have to say it as it is. I'm sorry. The CV is, the presentation is appalling. The content and information is just not compelling at all. There is no employer in their right senses, as desperate as they are, that would look at such CVs and call the person back. The wrong first impression. So you're sending a CV in the first page of an F4 paper. What you have there is your marital status, where you're from, if you're Black or African. Very much unnecessary information. Nobody needs this. And then you'll see these CVs are non-reflective of your skills. And the worst of them is that these CVs are repetitive. So they do not correspond with the job description or person specification of the job. I'll go for that in details in this particular one because this is the major topic that most CVs have as we go further to identify them. Next slide, please. Now, what are the golden rules for a great CV? I'm going to keep it simple and straightforward. The first thing is for you to know that your CV is an opportunity for you to show yourself and your potentials to a prospective employer with that you are the ideal candidate for the job without you even being there. Now, you might be a great person, you might be a great talker, you can talk, you might be like very good with procedures, you might be a box of knowledge that maybe when you go for an interview, you're one of those that, girl, you smashed it and all of that. But the bottom line is, you wouldn't be given an opportunity for an interview. You wouldn't be given an opportunity to display your skills if you cannot, present yourself as admirable as a hot cake on paper. So CV is literally is a paper presentation of yourself where you are convincing your employer that give me the opportunity to show you what I can do. So the golden rule is that your CV must stand out. It must draw attention from your relevant skills, your experience, and your achievements and potentials. So your most relevant skills and achievement and potential should be at the top of the CV. There's not such thing as generic CV templates. Gone are those days when a CV should be outlined like this. Then you outline it and fill the top first page with complete rubbish, and then the bottom has the important information. So what will happen in that scenario is when an employer picks up the CV and go, that first page is complete rubbish. No, there's no need going further down in the dump. That's the reason why you're not getting that call back for an interview. Also, a CV should be able to create an impression on the employer that they will not be able to turn you down for an interview. You mean, I've been in the panel of choosing an applicant in the first place. When you read a CV, you're like, this person is going to be a great value, a great asset to my team. So that's what your CV should do. And you must also not include unnecessary stuff. Like I said, nobody cares about whether you're Black, whether you're Nigerian, whether you are African, whether you're single or you are married, because all of these things give you an opportunity for you to even say, okay, maybe the employer discriminated against me. Won't you be happy that, okay, I'm a blind applicant, this employer does not even know if I'm white, or they don't know if I'm Black, they don't know where I'm coming from. They are just choosing me or picking me based on my skills, based on what I can bring to the team. But you putting all of this unnecessary information also exposes you to things like that. It must not include all the unnecessary personal information. So the personal information important in a CV is first your name, and then your email address in case they need to contact you. That's your contact details. Your address if they need to post you a letter, and then your phone number. That is it. Nobody needs other things. Your marital status, your age, especially that. Nobody needs all of that in a CV. And your CV must highlight your potentials and your skills. It must reflect the job description and person specification of the job. So this is the biggest taboo that comes up with CV making. What CVs are saying is a generic CV. You can identify with what I'm saying. Where you have one CV fits all, that's a no-no. That can't happen. You can't have one CV fits all. Well, I mean, it's okay to have a CV template where you always go to edit when you find a new job role. But what most people, especially Nigerians, do is, this job application pop up. Where is my CV? Boom, I've sent in my CV. And then tomorrow, say maybe you found a job in stroke units this week, and you go, there's a job opening in stroke units. Boom, I've sent my CV. And then next week, there's a job opening in the emergency department. Oh, yeah. Okay, there's a job opening in the emergency department. Boom, I've sent my CV. No, that doesn't work. There is no such thing as one CV fits all. You can have your CV template in place. What you do, oh, there's a job opening in stroke unit. Okay, what I do, I read the job specification. I read the person specification and job description. What are they looking for? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, good. Then you go back and edit your CV to suit that need before you send the CV for an application. Again, if you have another job next week in the emergency department, then you go to this job description. Okay, this is the kind of stuff you're looking for. You come in and then suit your CV, edit your CV to suit the role. Can I get the next slide? Yeah. So, can I get the next slide, please, Nika? Yeah. So your CV must be simple. It must be in plain format and simple languages. So there's no need to fuss around being over decorative and all that. Except of course, maybe you are applying for a job in graphic design and you want to show your employer what you can do in graphic design. Otherwise, there's no such need for, copy your CV in some annoying format. The CV should follow the same font. So just highlight everything, put them in the same font. If they are on 12, all of them should be on 12. They should be aligned and arranged logically. Remember, your prospective employer is also assessing you for communication, how you communicate non-verbally. So you have to make sure that your CV shows that you can flow effectively. Now, another important thing is employment and employment lapses and gaps. Your CV shouldn't have gaps or lapses. If eventually that your CV does have gap or your CV does have a lapse, always put it in there. So I'll give you an example of gaps and lapses, what I mean. So you're putting your last job was in 20, so you had a job from 2018 to 2020. And then you have a new job for 2000. So you have your current job, say January 2020 to January 2021. That's exactly 1 year. The job before that is January 2019 to January 2020. That's an example that there is no gap. So what happens in most CVs I see is you see somebody saying, oh, I have a job from January 2020 to January 2021. And the previous experience is maybe January 2012 to January 2018. So what had happened between 2019 and 2020? What were you doing there? It could be you were in a study. It could be you were taking a career break. You allowed the career break. You were not working. Just put it on there. 2018 to 2020 career break. So that shows your employer there is no gap in your, because this is what we struggle with. I keep chasing candidates. Why do you have this gap in your CV? Why do you have this gap in your CV? And also ensure you put your selling points and your most recent experience should come first. Say, for instance, you've got an experience in renal care and renal management, and maybe that was just maybe 6 months experience or so. It can be as little as that. Rather than coming up at the top of your CV and writing dementia care, that, you put that experience first before you come in to put other unnecessary experience, because that is what is going to captivate the attention of your prospective employer. That's what I mean by saying you ensure your selling point is on top and your recent experience comes first. Next slide, please. Now, your CV should also contain brief summary or profile that summarizes your skill and experience. So in the beginning, you can have a brief executive summary that says, I am so knows that, I've got this experience, blah, 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 blah. Another way of doing this is by including a cover letter. So after having your CV, you write another short letter that's a cover letter. That's just a short letter. That's what they do call application letter in those days. But in this point, you don't need to put any address or wherever. Just make it like a cover letter, just a straightforward letter. Say who you are, put it like a profile on yourself. This should not have the same information that a CV is, because otherwise it looks like you are being repetitive. Rather than that, you should just explain like your employment gap can come in there, your experiences can come in there, and all that. So this gives your employer more information about you that your CV does not have space or does not have time to portray. And your CV should show career progression. So it should show you are moving from one step to the other rather than being stagnant. Achievement is very essential to get to your CV. Now, it really, really pisses me off when I see the CVs for nurses, and you can just see that the CV is copy and paste. On the aspect of skills, you see a nurse writing wanting computer, wherever, wanting that. Why not tailor it to your need? What is your skills as a nurse that someone is looking for? Are you a team leader? Have you developed an action plan? Even if you're working in one very small private hospital, if you are the one in charge of that private hospital and you have developed patient plan of care, you put it there as your skill or as your achievements or all that, rather than putting those copy and pasted things. Are you skilled in person-centered care, which almost all nurses are? Are you a versatile nurse that you've worked around med-surg, surgical med-surg, cancer care, and all that? That is a skill. If you're skilled in giving personalized care, that is a skill. Say when you were doing your nursing, you were your course rep. You can put that as an achievement of I'm skilled in leadership. If you've been a team leader or a senior nurse where you work, that is an achievement. You can put I'm a good team player, I've been a good leader. Say when you were in school, for instance, you wrote one of those case studies that we do right, like congestive cardiac failure or wherever, and you can put it there as an achievement because that is a new patient care pathway developed. So all of these are necessary things you should put under your skills and your achievement, rather than having a section that says you are friendly. I even see people say hobbies, I like swimming, I like. Nobody cares about that in the road. You're not going to swim in the water, pardon me. And then educational details should include your school, the program, the qualification, the year, and the grade. So people just put on there. You were in the University of Nigeria, BSc nursing. That is it. What was your grade? What year did you go to this school? And all of that. What qualification did you get from what kind of program it is? Because they need to compare this to make sure that it matches the role, what they want in the role they are employing you for. So if all of these are lacking in your CV, it's quite concerning. Now, mind what you include when it gets to personal interest, because this will paint a picture of you. Honestly, I don't even think when you go about things about personal interest, just put things about developing new patient care plan, new patient care pathway, using of evidence-based practices and all that, rather than going into things like I love to dress, I love swimming and all that, I love reading. Nobody cares if you love all those things, if you understand what I mean. And then can we get to the next slide, please? Now, finally, you should always check your CV for readability and accuracy. What I mean is that proofreading is magical. Make sure you proofread your CV over and over again. You can get a colleague, a friend, a family member, and say, can you go through this? Does this make sense to you? Because sometimes when we are tense or all that, we tend to make mistakes. Is there any grammatical error? Is it whatever? Does that seem fine to you? So always make sure you proofread your CV, that it's readable and it's accurate. And finally, like I said, it's always wise to attach a cover letter to your application. So I can give you a sample of a cover letter later that just summarizes what you do, how you are the best candidate for the job. So yeah, that is it actually. So we've got an activity. Can we get the next slide, please? So in summary, presenting yourself perfectly on paper is the only key to getting the call back to prove yourself in an interview. So if your CV does not highlight who you are, does not highlight that you are the right person for the job, then I'm sorry, you will not get that opportunity to even defend yourself in an interview. Next slide, please. So we've got an activity where I'm going to show you a sample of a great CV. And then after that, you're going to go back home and defend and also prepare your own CV. So I just want us to end the presentation first to make it easier on Inca before we go back to look at the CV. So next slide, I think that's the final slide where that's the best slide in the boring presentation. Well, thank you. Any questions? Please keep the questions at the end when we get to the Q&A section. So thank you so much for listening. And I've got a link of reference where I'm going to send to you in your email after this section, where you can also read through in assisting you to remember what we've done today. And also you can read through this link to gain more knowledge while you prepare your own CV. So you guys, if you are happy to close the slide and open up the CV for me. So I'll just run up the CV, a free quick simple CV to the girls.
All right. Thank you, Vitri. I'm just on that now. I'll bring that up.
All right.
So maybe just keep talking while I get this ready.
I'm
Could you
not
just
talking. I need a drink of water, actually. So
okay?
yeah, that's it. Literally, we're gonna take the question and answers at the end during the Q&A section. So we just wait for Ika to pull up the CVs. So I'll just show you a sample of what's a layout of the CV or what it should look like. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
coming up.
That's all right. Sorry, guys. It's technical things to get hiccups.
It's not easy to be the producer, the artist, the editor, and all that at the same time. So it's an MS Word, so I have it up now. That's good.
We're all trying to get people used to this era of having meetings virtually.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I'm so sorry. Things should come up. Actually can't find it in my. Can we take this after so I could look for it? It's open somewhere, but I can't even see where it's open.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I know what to do.
While you're doing that, let me still try. Maybe I can find it. I don't know.
Yeah, found it.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, guys. Sorry for the big cut. So sorry, that's just my CV. Oh, I was gonna blank out the name, but that's fine. That's all right. That's my CV. From what we said, I'm just gonna use this to conclude what we said. What should be in the CV, the layout, and the order it should come in. So you can see the only personal details I have on the CV is my name. That's my name at the top. And then the next stage, I've got my email address. I've got an alternate email just because I don't want to miss out on employers getting back to me. But you don't need to have two emails. If one of your emails active and always at your beck and call, that's fine. Then at the bottom, I've got my mobile number. That's the only personal details I needed in my CV. The next stage, I've done that as an objective. That could be called a summary. That's the summary we're talking about. So it could be a summary, it could be an objective. I'm just stating that I'm ambitious, motivated, and skilled trial-registered nurse, brackets UK, Nigerian, and Irish, with theoretical and practical evidence-based knowledge and experience in general patient care, clinical practice, and nursing education, seeking to channel my diverse knowledge and experience into nursing education to contribute to the growth and advancement of nursing practice in the nursing profession. You can see that's just a brief overview of who I am and what I can bring to the role if given the opportunity. The next stage, I've got into my educational achievement. I put in there my most current educational achievement, which is postgraduate certificate in higher education and professional education. I put in there Queen Margaret University, Scotland. If you go down, please. I've got my educational achievement in order of priority and all that. So I've got the practice supervisor role. I've got the Masters of Nursing. What I want you to look in there, on my Masters of Nursing, I put in there the year I finished, the course it included, and that might not really be necessary, but the other important thing, you guys screw down, let me show them what I meant. So I've got my grade on there. I've put my grade on there as well. So all of these things will show the name of the program is there, the name of the university is there. So that's an example, Masters of Nursing in Science. What year did I complete it? So it's between 2016 2017. What university? University of Sunderland. What is the grade? It's a distinction. So you can see all of the things are in there that should be in there. So when they see this, they'll be able to compare it against the standard. Now, one you will relate with is my diploma in nursing. It's got the nursing school in there. It's got the grade on there, and it's also got my what program it is, as well as what qualification you're coming out with. So Nika, if you go down, please. And you can see how plain this is. I don't have thousands of design in it. My employment history, I've got my most exciting, my most current employment at the top. And this CV, I actually did it because I was applying for a senior emergency role as well as educational role. You can see the first thing I've put in there, I've tailored it to an emergency department job on the first. And it's really attractive and all that. If I was applying for education, that's going to be at the top row. You're going to see everything I write detailed what my education thing is going to be. The good thing about a nursing CV is that you can sell yourself as much as possible in your CV. Unlike other departments where they meet them to like one A4 paper, all that, you can go further with your nursing CV. So if you could please go down and see, you can keep going, please. Keep going. So all of those are my experience. I put in there what I do, put in the year. You can see they are all highlighted. You can see it's easy to read. It's attractive. It's just like when you're reading a document or a book. If it's part and annoying, nobody wants to read it. Nobody really wants to see it because it's just really strains the eye. This is aligned, it's logical, it's arranged, it's simple, it's clear, not too much design. Please go up a little bit, Inka. I just want to show them something about the achievement. So you can see under my skills, yeah, come down, please. You can see under my skills, rather than writing the copy and pasting on M&S and all of that, I've written education. I've put in there that I'm good at teaching and impacting knowledge. I've gotten feedback and all of that from people that I've encountered in my care. And I've put in there patient care, that I'm skilled in patient care, experience in patient-centered care for patients with acute care needs, health promotion and education, nursing assessment, planning and implementation. The other skills I've put in there is clinical practice. Please come down, Inka. It's clinical practice. I've put in there that I'm skilled in clinical practice. I'm skilled in teamwork, research, planning, and organization. And then under my achievements, I put maybe founder of this society and that society. I've developed this care plan and this pathway for patients, fluent in English, and all that. That's all you need in your CV. So you don't need a CV that puts on the bottom line is your CV should not contain unnecessary information. And then your CV should be able to it should be a proper paper presentation of who you are and what you bring to you. So that would be the end of the section today. I'm waiting to take your question and answers at the end of the section when we get to our Q&A section. So thank you very much for listening. And I hope I wasn't too boring.